The University of Manitoba campuses
are located on the original lands
of Anishinaabe,
Cree,
Ojibwe,
Dakota,
and Dene peoples,
and on the homeland of the Métis Nation.
We respect the treaties that were made on these territories.
We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past.
We dedicate ourselves to move forward
in partnership with Indigenous communities,
in the spirit of reconciliation
and collaboration.
The Lifetime Achievement Award recognizes graduates who have shown personal and professional achievements in leadership throughout their lifetime and continue to make significant and transformative contributions to their profession, their community, and the University of Manitoba.
If I tell the truth and I do it without anger and blame and shame, that's the best thing that I could do.
Myra Laramee is an educator, a mentor, a knowledge keeper, a principal, and an organizer. In her 5 decades of work, she has revolutionized the education system in Manitoba.
She utilizes all of these different roles. To me, that really imbues, a lifetime of various work, being not only an educator, but also being, a very respected knowledge keeper and elder in our communities.
How we learn things and how we come about with who we are on this earth each and every time is a miracle. Each and every child in this universe is a miracle. Some days it doesn't feel like that, but that's the truth. I've learned that for sure.
Myra just didn't talk about things. She did things which other people might have been intimidated to do. She just went for it continuously. And I think that's what we see the result of that tenacity, that sort of determination to never give up.
Biggest thing that we need to do is make sure that our children inherit their rights and to know that they have a voice that will take this earth to a next level.
Myra has been incorporating Indigenous ways and knowledge into classrooms in Manitoba for decades, authoring 12 guiding documents that inform the provincial government how to teach.
Her family was greatly affected by Indian residential schools, by anti-Indigenous racism, from that era, and just validating, what Indigenous knowledge provides us in the 21st century, and her strong belief in its basis in truth, its efficacy, and how useful and important it is today's generation, whether you're Indigenous or not.
I don't go anywhere without my stories. On that piece of paper, it says, what is one of the best things that you've learned how to do in your life? And one of the best things that I've learned how to do is tell these stories, because they're the truth. They're real.
She incorporates, the physical and the spiritual and the emotional aspect in all of her work that she does. And, very few educators, can do that type of work, and have it balanced.
My job on the earth has been to walk beside the truth and have the truth walk with me. And if I can't do that, then I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
When teachers or when students, when they have those, aha moments, I know Myra just loves that. I know that really inspires her and inspires her work.
Along with her work in education and the Indigenous community as a whole, Myra's quest for inclusion and equality has left a lasting mark on the Indigenous LGBTQ2S+ community.
In 1990, Myra was gifted with the name Two Spirits, which she shared with us, and really has resonated across North America in terms of that reclamation of historical knowledge around that inclusion of Two-Spirit people in pre-contact days, and how that's something that is resurging now in the 21st century. So I think that piece is a great contribution, and it is a phenomenon in North American culture that we have that renaming and that spiritual naming, which is a tradition of Indigenous, spirituality.
She got her bachelor's degree, she got her master's degree, and she got her PhD degree from the University of Manitoba. I know that she's so proud of that.
My time at the University of Manitoba was because of my father. I was having a discussion about where it was I was going to do my thesis. He said, you're going to do your thesis here. This is you make your footprints on this land.
From coming out of that oppression to navigating institutions like education and health and culture, and be able to, recontextualize that experience, and that she is able to now be a doctor, to be an educator, to have people recognize her path and the knowledge that she carries.
So Myra, we all love you. We say miigwech, for sharing your knowledge and your gifts with us.
Make sure you walk softly. Put one foot in front of the other, so that when you make your footprint in your moccasin skin, they will know, Mother Earth will know who came by here.
I'm delighted to be with the award-winning distinguished alumni, Myra Laramee, who's won the Lifetime Achievement from the University of Manitoba. It's a very special award, and I'm really looking forward to this time together with you, Myra. I would like to begin by saying Tansei, welcome. Mamuth Tukusawin, congratulations to you on this honor.
Shani.
And let's launch off with the first question. You've accomplished so much and done so many different things. Can you tell us what satisfies you most about your work, Myra?
Well, I don't know if there is a most, but I do believe in what comes from the work that I do. And I just finished a course at another university we won't say the name of, but they asked me if I would do a Saturday class. And these kids come out of their Saturday and study with me and tell stories with me. And I only recently recognized that one of the gifts that Creator has given me is the ability to listen to others' stories, as well as to be able to tell my stories of my life. And in doing so, there's an exchange of love. Because when a person gets comfortable to tell the truth, no matter what that truth may hold, we have the power as humans being to tell the negative part of that journey, to get lost, that we don't have time for negativity, not anymore. And that comes to one of the things that I took away from this university as a student. When I did my thesis, and I interviewed the people, and I was called to remember a certain amount of folks that were my mentors, my knowledge keepers, my guides, don't you do that. You need to do it this way. Those ones, I realized during that time of writing and developing my thesis that those people loved me. They trusted me with the knowledge that they carried. I hear it today when I'm with people. I hear what they told me. I see what they told me. I believe what they told me. My father was one of the geniuses of the world, and he had grade 7. My father gave me one-liners. He dealt with drunks for 45 years, got many people sober. But this one was about knowledge. And he said, people think that taking knowledge into their brain is what they're supposed to do. But if you take knowledge into your brain and leave it there, you're stuck with something that you don't even know anything about. He said, the scarring of your being is from your head to your heart. When you take knowledge that has become a part of your brain, you must travel with it down here and lay it on your heart. That's why I say you don't put it into your heart, because you put it into your heart and your heart gets affected. When you put it on your heart can work with you. And as you travel that knowledge back up to where it's supposed to be in your brain, you actually find in that journey what it is you're supposed to do with that knowledge. Otherwise, it's just knowledge sitting there, holding space in your brain. When you know what to do with that knowledge, then you can find the truth. And when you find the truth, that you can walk in a good way. You can walk softly. So that's what my dad told us.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I really appreciated hearing that.
I
have a question about the university, and you kind of made reference to it, and you've had a long relationship with the University of Manitoba. You were a student here, of course. You've been a 5?
I was 5 years old when I came here first.
Wow, okay.
In that room. That's why I told you what I told you.
So you've been a student, you've been a professor, an elder in residence. You've sat on the Dean's Aboriginal Education Task Force, and you're part of the post-secondary partnership group for the Manitoba Education and Training. So you've had all kinds of facets of interactions with the university. And I'm wondering, in your opinion, what do you think the University of Manitoba is doing well? And also, what do you think the University of Manitoba could improve on?
I think the University of Manitoba, Ishkadebajik, the buffalo, has a voice. And I think if research is truthful, research on what the University of Manitoba has done would tell some things that we need to work on, and tell some things that we've done well. I think and I believe that work into the Indigenous space where knowledge sits could be a little bit more in depth.
You've spoken quite a bit already of Indigenous knowledge, and I'd like to ask you a question related to integrating Indigenous knowledge in the Manitoba K-12 school system. You can include the university school system as well, if you'd like, and integrating it in a really meaningful way. How do you think the Manitoba school system is doing integrating Indigenous knowledge, Myra?
I don't think there's possibility of integrating.
No.
The folks who carry it need to walk it and talk it and live it. And the folks who want to know enough about it to have it in their life need to listen, need to talk when they feel they can, and need to live what they've learned.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise it's just knowledge. Knowledge doesn't mean anything if you don't. It's like the book, the beautiful, beautiful book that was written that you read when you were a child or a young adult or an old person. And you love that book so much, but you go to the bookshelf and now you can't find it. Because it's been sitting there so long. They don't even know where it is anymore.
Mm.
Stories.
Mm-hmm.
Stories are what makes this world a unique place in the universe. Stories are manifested in a way you've taken knowledge and worked with it. And the way, Anne, that you take knowledge and work with it, same knowledge, and the knowledge that I'm going to take and work with it is going to be two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Because Creator gave us one of the boldest ways of being on the earth, and that is in diversity.
Mm-hmm.
We live our diversity. We talk our diversity. We cry our diversity. We laugh our diversity. But diversity is the one thing that keeps us from being pressured into something that we're not. Reconciliation has not touched that yet. It hasn't opened that doorway to that diversity. There's still people that want us all to be the same thing. You know, so there's lots of things still to prepare for.
Mm-hmm.
Still to begin to know. We haven't even started yet knowing, never mind integrating.
Yeah.
So when I say that, I don't say it in a mean kind of way that the university is not doing their job. It's the University of Manitoba who will know that they're not doing their job. That's up to the University of Manitoba to know that.
Mm-hmm.
But if they aren't, then it's up to me to come and help.
To come and help, yes, to serve and contribute in some way.
Yeah. But belief is something they can't take away from you. If your belief is strong, your life will be good. And I think that's what places like this need to have, is belief that is strong.
Do you mean the University of Manitoba?
Yep, I do.
Yeah.
There's a buffalo standing someplace on this land. We went looking for it today. It wasn't where we thought it was. But my father told me that as long as that buffalo is standing here, I couldn't go study someplace else. And I believe in what he believed now. Because here I am, sitting here, talking about Ishkode Bajik.
It's kind of like a full circle moment in a way, isn't it?
Don't put goosebumps on my arms. Somebody had a thought, had a dream. Because regardless of how much I am quiet about Niju Manituk, keeps coming out. Keeps coming out. My mom used to say to me, I worry about you going to do this place and that place and coming out and all of this stuff. And I said, Ma, I said, I'm not the one that's coming out. You're always outing me. it's kind of like that right now. I don't think of myself as anybody but a human trying to be.
So what came to your mind when I called you that day back in July and advised you that the university wanted to give you this Lifetime Achievement Award?
Nothing is perfect. But I know that I learned here. I know that I met amazing people here.
Well, I'm so glad that those two people that worked so closely with you kind of pushed you to reapply and that it worked out. I mean, you know, sometimes from the most difficult circumstances, good can come.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And it's not easy, but what an amazing PhD experience you had. As I've listened to you today in our conversation, Myra, I just sense this tremendous openness in you. And you've also spoken a lot about truth, and I've really appreciated your wisdoms. And I'm just so grateful that we could be together to have this conversation today and to celebrate you in this award. You really honor the University of Manitoba, and we thank you for that.
It's time. It's time.
And with that, we're finished our conversation.
Of course,